You are more than welcome to disagree with the relationship models that I talk about and that I endorse and that I advise people on. Non-monogamous relationships, FBs, MLTRs, OLTRs, OLTR marriage, open marriage, swinger marriage, etc. You're welcome to disagree with those things. And you're welcome to say, oh my God, I'm not doing that. Matter of fact, when guys disagree with my stuff, I like it. And if you've read my blogs, you may notice that when guys disagree, those are the first comments I respond to. If there's no ad hominem attacks, I like it when guys disagree with me because it forces me to shore up any holes in my arguments or failures in my systems and things like that. So I like that. At the same time, if you say to me, if I describe something big like OLTR marriage, non-monogamous marriage, where there's separation of finances and so on, if your first knee-jerk response is, oh my God, I would never do that, then that's fine. That's okay. However, you then have to tell me what you're going to do. If you're going to tell me that you're never going to use my systems and that you're going to use some other system, or if you tell me that my system would never work, or if you tell me that you would never do it and no one else should do it, that's fine. The very next thing out of your mouth should be what you are going to do once you want to settle down with a woman or have kids or what have you. You need to lay out exactly what you're going to do, number one. Number two, you got to tell me the facts and statistics that back up your contention that what you're going to do is going to work. Work based on whatever definition of work you have. So if you're going to say to me, if your definition of working is you're never going to get divorced, or you're never going to cheat, or she's never going to cheat on you, or whatever, great. Tell me exactly what you're going to do, and then show me all the facts and statistics that show me clearly that what you're going to do will probably work. Now, if you say, I would never do that, I would never do an open marriage, I would never do an OLTR, no one should do this, that's crazy. Great. If I then ask you, okay, great, what are you going to do when you want to settle down with a woman? If you suddenly just run away and don't answer the question, what does that tell you? What does that signal to everyone else reading your stuff? What does that signal to me? What do you think I feel when someone attacks my stuff and I say, great, here are my questions, please respond, and then they run away because they have no argument? It makes me feel like I'm on the right path, like I'm right and you're wrong. Because if you were right, you'd be able to respond to me and say, oh no, Caleb, you're wrong. I'm going to do this system instead, and I'm going to do A, B, C, D, and I know it'll work because of X, Y, and Z. Okay? I've never seen that happen. If instead I ask you that question and you run away, or you respond with ad hominem attacks, or I ask you the question and you change the subject and don't want to answer that question, what do you think that tells you? If you don't want to utilize the systems that I have, that's fine. But I would really like to know what you plan on doing when you want to settle down with someone, unless your answer is, I'm never going to move in with a woman, and that's fine. That's a valid answer. That's the only valid answer. I'm never going to live with a woman. I'm never going to have any kids, literally never. I think the odds are low that's actually going to happen because men, as they get older, certainly over the age 35, age 40, they will start to want these things. So I think you're going to be an exception to the rule if you pull it off, which is fine. But you get my point. If you don't have an answer for an alternative system that you know for sure with high odds of success will work, that should tell you something. Now, one more thing on that. I've had some guys who, when they disagree with my models, and I ask them what they're going to do, they do actually kind of mumble an answer. And the mumbled answer is, I'm going to marry a really young virgin and I'm going to stay alpha. Okay, that's their technique. I'm going to traditionally marry some 20-year-old who's never had sex or only had sex with one or two other guys, and I'm going to be really alpha with her and boss her around and show her his boss and be a man, and I'm never going to get beta, never going to turn into a beta. I'm going to stay an alpha for the rest of the marriage, okay? If that model worked, you would see millions of men in the manosphere, red pill, PUA worlds who have done that and made it work. Do you see that? Do you see any? How many guys have you seen who did that and 5 years, 10 years, 15 years later, they're still married and still happy? And still happy. Just being married is not success. Being married and still happy. If you're married and you're miserable, or if you're married and constantly cheating and she's screaming at you, that doesn't count. You have failed. Unless that was your objective all along, I don't think it was. So if all you've got is you're going to run away and because you can't answer the question, or you're going to give me some BS about I'm going to marry some 20-year-old and be alpha, Even though I can't point to any other men who's done this, you should see millions of men all over the internet who have said, oh my God, this is great. I married a 22-year-old virgin who was a Christian and I'm super alpha and we've been married 15 years and it's great. We've been married 5, 6, 7 years and it's great. No problems at all. It's awesome. Do you see that? I don't see that. I see the opposite. I see guys, and I won't mention any names, I see guys in the red pill, manosphere, PUA, etc. world who have tried exactly that and it blew up in their fucking faces. So what is your model? And tell me why you think it's going to work.